Hello and welcome to our video on showing and safety. What we'd like to do is teach you some techniques on how to effectively show your property, and then also some practices that you can employ to ensure your safety and the safety of your belongings. We're going to consult with you on how to demonstrate your property by telling the story of the home as opposed to just demonstrating the features of the property, and walk you through 12 tips that you can utilize in order to make sure you don't get taken advantage of by an unscrupulous buyer out there. Our goal is that you will gain a higher offer by demonstrating the value of the property and, of course, protect yourself and your personal belongings from potential harm. What we'd first like to focus on is effectively demonstrating the property. And what that requires is you understanding the difference between the features of the home and the benefits that those features provide. The number one mistake that you can make when a buyer comes into your property is try and sell them on the features of the property. What you want to do is make the rooms tell a story. Let me give you an example of what I mean. When we're talking about telling the story of the property, we want you to tell a story of how you use the property or how the property has benefited your everyday life. That way a buyer can visualize themselves in the property and see the benefit of owning the property. When they see the benefit of owning the property, it'll actually increase the amount of value that they see in the property and could lead to a potentially higher offer. Let me give you an example of what I'm talking about. If we have an average everyday kitchen with a stove and a microwave and a disposal and a dishwasher and granite countertops, the normal seller comes in and says, "Welcome to our kitchen." Well, we already know that we're in the kitchen, so it's relatively obvious. And then they start to point out the features. This is a stainless appliance. This is the microwave. This is the oven. We just did these appliances 3 or 4 years ago. These are all features of the property and don't necessarily demonstrate the value that you have inside your kitchen. So you want to focus on making sure that you tell the story of the kitchen. Let me give you a different example of what I'm talking about. For instance, welcome to our kitchen. This is the heart of our home. We spend the majority of our time here. My husband and my kids eat most of their breakfast over here in the breakfast area. I serve most of their meals right here from the breakfast bar. We like how it opens up into the great room because we do a lot of entertaining. I prefer to cook, so we have the double oven, and it's more of a gourmet style kitchen with a convection oven down below. We got at the stainless steel appliances because they match the new cabinets that we put in. They're longer cabinets, so we utilize all the lower shelves for stuff that we use every day and the higher shelves for the stuff that we don't use so often. We went ahead and put in the tile floor because it's a little bit easier to clean up with the kids spilling all the time. Is this the type of kitchen that's going to work for you? Now, if you'll notice what I did there at the last, I used what's called a tie-down question. And that tie-down question is where you ask the potential buyer if something's going to work for them. Can they see the benefit? Can they see themselves in this kitchen? Can they see themselves in this great room? Can they see their furniture living in here? You want to tie the kitchen or whichever room that you're demonstrating at the time directly back to the buyer. Once you tie down your story or once you ask the buyer if there's a benefit, now's where you want to take a step back and be sure that you don't oversell the property. You want to give the buyer an opportunity in order to absorb the information that you just gave them and apply it to their future purchasing decision. If it's just a buyer all by themselves, give them some time to look around the room and just let them know that you'll be available to ask any questions. If it's a couple that's in your property, be sure to get out of earshot so they can have quiet conversations about what they like or maybe don't like or potentially would like to change about the property, or that they would have to change before they move in. And remember that these are buying signals. When a buyer or a couple of buyers starts talking about the things that they want to change about a property, they're considering an actual purchase. So allow them to have this conversation in private, out of earshot, so that they'll feel comfortable right there in the property. Our last tips for you are to make sure that you get feedback at the end of every showing. Sometimes you can get feedback right at the front door, although some people are not very comfortable telling you right to your face what they may think is wrong with the property. So you might get a follow-up phone number or a follow-up email. Send them an email, thank them for coming by, and then ask them if they could give you feedback in 3 areas: your asking price, the current condition, and the terms that you're offering out to the buying public. Please ask for their honest opinion and be prepared for anything that they may say. We all know that all sellers love their property, but we have to view our properties from a realistic buyer eye so that we can make adjustments during our marketing period in order to best match the buyer public out there. And finally, when you're demonstrating the property, get good at 3 rooms: the kitchen, the common areas such as the great room, living room, or den, and then finally the master bedroom or the master suite. Just be careful about the stories that you tell there. Obviously, when you're showing your property, there's a potential for someone to take advantage of the situation. So we don't want to scare you, but we do want you to just take some simple steps in order to protect yourself and your belongings from potential harm. First of all, be aware of potential threats. And there's some simple guidelines that you can follow in order to make sure that you avoid a hazardous situation. You can control your appointment times. When buyers show up at your house, get documentation. Ask for a copy of their driver's license or to see their driver's license. When you're showing the property, have an exit strategy. If things go wrong, make sure that you don't get cornered. Make sure that you have an exit strategy from everywhere in the house. And then last but not least, listen to that little voice inside your head that says, maybe this isn't such a good idea. That little voice is often right and can keep you out of a lot of danger. I like to take you through a list of 12 things that you can do in order to ensure your safety or make sure that you provide a safe environment for yourself and your family. These are 12 common safety tips, simple things to help you and your safety. 1. Get contact information, name, address, and phone number. 2. Ask for a pre-approval letter prior to the showing. 3. Ask to see the driver's license before showing the house. 4. Never schedule appointments after dark. 5. When possible, try not to show the property alone. 6. When showing, make sure the buyers are in your view constantly. Don't let them split up. Number 7. Always tell someone else when you are showing and communicate that to the buyer. 8. Have a cell phone always in your hand in case you need to make a quick phone call. 9. Don't take unscheduled appointments such as walk-ups. Always try to schedule for later that day or the following day. 10. Don't let the buyers take pictures of your personal belongings. 11. Don't ever tell them when you will be at work or when you will be on vacation. 12. Have an exit strategy. How are you going to get out and get help in the event of an emergency from anywhere in the home? Thanks for taking the time to watch our video on showing and safety. We hope that you've learned a little bit about effectively showing your property and demonstrating the value so that you'll garner a higher offer and net more at closing. And we hope these 12 safety tips we've given you, you'll take to heart and never put a showing in front of the safety of your family or your personal belongings. As always, thanks again for watching the video, and we wish you the best of luck selling.